Everybody, I'm Tim Bulot. Welcome back. This is fourth show in our series from 1996. This one was actually, just like the previous show, was filmed in November of 1996. Now, we're four shows into this project. We're starting to get into a groove. Things are moving along. Students are really enjoying the demos and being involved in the program. You can see Brenda in this week's On the Mat section. She's really starting to pick it up there, starting to get things going, getting comfortable, getting in her groove and so forth, okay? I'd like to get some feedback from you guys, okay? What do you think about this? Do we keep this thing going? Who's watching it? You know, I'm getting the likes and so forth, but leave some comments down there. Who's watching it? Now, something else I want to bounce off of you, get some feedback on, is that there are certain, as I'm looking at these old shows, these tapes are 25, 26 years old. There's parts of the tapes on some of the shows that are damaged. Would you like to see some modern stuff mixed in with this to fill in those gaps? Such as we visit some of the newer schools around, see what people are doing today. Maybe I put some segments of myself in there doing some updated things, or I've got plenty of content. And the next question is if we do keep this show going and we do add new segments to it, do we film it in modern video in 4K, or do we keep going with the vintage look and filming with the older cameras, which I still have, and most of them are up and running? So just some questions to think about. We'd like to hear what you think about it in the comment section below. But anyway, remember to share, to like, to subscribe. Those things are necessary to help us keeping this thing going along. So anyway, let's get right into it. This is episode 4 from 1996, Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Training to Survive, Kenpo, martial arts, fitness. Let's get it going.
What's up, people? What's up, man? What's up, people? What's up, man? What's up, people? What's up, man? What's up, man? What's up? Boom! What's up, man? What's up? Boom! What's up, man? What's up? Boom!
Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulot. Welcome to another exciting edition of Training to Survive. We're going to introduce a new segment in the program to you tonight entitled The World of Martial Arts, in which we're going to periodically take a look at what other arts are out there and find out what they are all about. We're going to go into that gym, we're going to pump up those arms today and finish up with a segment on the mat covering street self-defense. So go get your gi on, get ready, and let's get started.
Come here, you people!
In this next section, we're going to take a look at a Korean art, a locking and throwing art known as Hapkido. Now, your instructor in Hapkido today is going to be Master Michael Park, who holds high-ranking black belts in both Jiu-Jitsu and Hapkido, and is the president and founder of the United States Hapkido Black Belt Federation. Let's go visit with Mr. Park and let's see what Hapkido is all about.
Okay, let's get started. For your first series of self-defense techniques, we're going to use self-defense against wrist grabs. And assisting me today is Master Terry Raitt. I want you to notice that many of these techniques evolved from Mongolian wrestling, and they have some static and grappling type postures. They're pretty formal. for your first technique, I want you to control the wrist in a tiger mouth type technique. Control the hand, turn your center, pull him in, keep your elbow high, and then drop your weight. Grab him at the shoulder and pull him in for the pin. Okay, let's look at that from a different angle, please. Control the wrist in tiger mouth grab. Control the hand, rotate your center, drop your weight, pull him in. All right. This can be a very fast technique. When you're initially grabbed, you want to open your hand, charge your hands, drop your weight, pull them forward a little bit so they can't kick very well, and then go immediately into the technique. I'll speed this up a little bit. All right. For your second technique, control the wrist in a similar manner, step offline, kick right above his knee, bring him down, and then lay him out. Okay? Number two, from a different angle. You might add a strike, control the wrist, step offline, make sure you have this S angle, drop him down, lay him out. Okay? Okay, let's look at technique number 3 and 4. Wrist grab, extend with cover. And notice my back leg is at the same angle as my back. I'm not standing in a karate type stance. Re-grab the wrist. Step through and kneel. Pull, control your opponent, control the hand, slide your foot under his back, chop deep on the side of the chest, and then clear in this manner. All right? From this angle, please. Extend. Control the wrist. Lay him out. And clear. Technique number 4 is pretty advanced. All right? Circle your wrist. Control his hand. Control the wrist. Drop your weight and twist. If you'll notice, Master 8 is doing a back flip to land safely. Okay? Let's do that one more time from this other angle, please. Technique number 4. Then drop your weight. Okay, self-defense against wrist techniques, number 5 and 6. We're working a single side or same side wrist grab techniques today. I'm going to have Master 8 grab me on this side for the purpose of our film so we have enough mat room. But for number 5, start in this manner. Bring the hand up, control the hand below the wrist, cut against the thumb, circle around, chop the back of the hand, and in a kneeling motion, throw in this area. Just look at that. Okay. Once again, from here, bring the hand up, control his hand, cut against his thumb, circle quickly, control the knife edge, step and kneel. All right. For number 6, rotate the hand, control the hand, apply pressure, get his attention, chop to the chest, step out, control the tension, turn, and then turn and drop your weight. Let's look at that again a little faster. Very good. Let's look at techniques number 7 and 8 now. From the wrist grab, same side, single side wrist grab. Pull the elbow as you tiger mouth the wrist. Snake around. Control your partner. From this angle, please. Pull this elbow and push the hand through. till it escapes against the thumb. Spin around and pull with your left hand and controlling this angle. Okay? Number 8. Pull towards you and grab the armpit, tiger mouth the wrist, pull him down to your left knee, then step forward at a minor angle. All right, from another angle, please. Pull the arm towards you, control the armpit, extend, break his posture, put his hand over his spine and step forward. All right.
For more information on Hapkido training, you can contact Michael Park at the United States Hapkido Black Belt Federation, 2001 Coit Road, Suite 166-293, Plano, Texas 75075. Look for this series to continue in future Training to Survive programs.
Hello, I'm Officer Rick Cutler, back with you again this week to provide you another crime prevention tip. This week we're going to talk about DWIs and the use of designated drivers. Before I start, I'm going to give you a quick statistic on DWIs. Each year in the United States, more people are killed on U.S. highways by drunk drivers than there were all of American soldiers killed during the Vietnam War. If we're going to go to a club or we're going to go to a bar, let's make sure we take a designated driver with us. If you cannot find a designated driver, let's take a telephone number or pager number of somebody that we can call to come pick us up if we have too much to drink. If you cannot get a designated driver to come pick you up or find one at the bar, contact the bartender or the manager of the bar and explain to him the situation. Explain to him that you've had too much to drink and you don't feel comfortable to drive home. In most circumstances, the manager or the bartender will call you a taxi and probably pay for the ride home. That's our crime prevention tip for this week. Enjoy the rest of the show and see you next time.
Hi, my name is Brenda White. I'm a fitness trainer here at the Academy of Kenpo Karate. Our segment today is dealing with biceps. We're going to do a beginner's workout today. We're going to do 3 different exercises. Okay, we're going to start with the dumbbell curl. Okay, with this movement you can do it standing or seated. Today we're going to be seated. What you want to do is grab your dumbbells. Well, they may be 2 to 10 pounds since we're beginners here. You want to put your hands at your side and remember that the only thing that's going to actually work for you is your forearm. Okay, and we're going to do 12 to 15 reps. So watch this movement and remember the only thing that moves is your forearm. So 1, 2, and when you do this movement you don't want to go all the way up because when you go all the way up you take the pressure off the biceps. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we have 2 more here, 11, and 1 more. Okay, we're going to take a breather here, and what I want you guys to do is go and do your 12 to 15 reps, and we'll be right back. Okay, the next exercise that we're going to do is called the concentration curl. Okay, what we want to do is grab the weight. Okay, you're going to rest your hands here next to your knee. And what we're going to do, remember as I said before, the only thing that's going to move is your forearm. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to grab the weight and we're going to bring it up. But as we bring it up, we're going to remember that we're not going to bring it all the way up because you take the pressure off your biceps. So let's do 12 of these. So 1, 2, and you'll notice as I'm doing this, that I'm doing it slowly, mainly because it is a concentration exercise. So think of that when you're doing this. That was 5, here's 6, 7, 8, 9, and we've got 3 more here, 10, 11, and here's 12. Okay, we're going to take a breather. And what I want you to do is 12 to 15 reps. Okay, this area that we're in here, this is the cable cable machine area. what we're going to be doing is we're going to do 2 exercises in this area. This is a wonderful machine for isolation. I mean, it really isolates the muscles. We're going to do what I call the bicep pose, and we're also going to do a barbell curls, but we're going to do it with cables. They're really great. So let's start with what I call the bicep pole curl, which is here. Okay, what we want to do is we want to grab the cables. Okay, let's set this first. Okay, we're going to grab the cables and we're going to bend our knees. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to bring your arms in. All right, and remember again, the only thing that's working is your forearms. What you want to do is you want to bring the cables in to your ears. Okay, that's a good way to remember this. Okay, so you do it correctly. All right, bring it in again like this. Take it out. Okay, and we're not going to go too fast. This is a moderate pace exercise. Okay, we're going to do 12 to 15 reps. So I'm going to start with the 12, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I really feel this. 7, and you will too. 8, 9, 10, 11, and here's one more. 12. It's wonderful for isolation. I can't say that enough. Okay, we're going to take a breather here, and you guys can try that. You're going to do 12 to 15 reps. Okay, we're now going to do the cable bicep curl. This is a variation of the barbell curls, but normally beginners do this exercise, so we're going to try this today. We're going to do 12 to 15 reps, and I'd say 15 is about right. So we're going to bend our knees, okay? Keep your arms at your side, and remember, the only thing that moves is your forearm. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I really feel this. This is total isolation. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, we're going to take a breather here, and I want you guys to try this. You're going to do 12 to 15 reps. Okay, here's a quick review of everything that we learned today. Remember that I gave you 4 exercises today. What I want you to do is pick 3 of those exercises and do 12 to 15 reps. Okay, we started with the bicep curls, okay? Dumbbell curls here, and you kept your hands at your side, and the only thing that moved was your forearm. So you want to bring it up. 1, and here's 2. Okay, we moved on from there to the concentration curl. Okay, remember again, the only thing that moves is your forearm. And we did 1, and here's one more. 2. Okay, we moved from there to my favorite, the bicep pose curl, okay? From here, we did 1, and here's 2. And remember to bring it to your ears and pause a second, all right? From there, we moved on to the cable curls, okay? And we did 1, and here's 2. Okay, that's the end of our segment. I hope you guys liked it, and remember that this adds power to your training.
Damn,
Come on up, Billy. Thank you. Hi, I'm Tim Bulot. Welcome to this week's On the Mat. This segment, we're going to get into our self-defense training, which is going to continue on in future segments on this program. Now, to get things started, so we can start off on that realistic foot here, I'm going to just kind of address a couple, 3 myths here that some common misconceptions that people have about martial arts training and about street fighting and so forth. And the first one I'd like to discuss is the one-punch knockout theory. Not too long ago, I did a television show for another channel, And there was an individual in this audience that during the course of this show, they said that they took a 3-day course, and during this 3-day course that they learned how to deliver knockout blows. And this is a small female saying this. And that kind of sickened me in a sense to hear someone, especially a smaller person like this, say that after only 3 days of training, and she really felt confident that she could deliver knockout blows. And to be honest, nothing could actually be further from the truth. People don't go down as easy as a lot of people seem to think that they do. Many martial artists who have trained for years and years and years will tell you that there's no guarantee that you're going to knock anybody out. Okay, so if you're studying or you're being told by an individual that, you know, this is a guarantee to knock somebody out, there's no guarantee. As a law enforcement officer, I've seen individuals shot numerous times with firearms, okay, and still keep coming. I've seen individuals after they've been run over by a vehicle, they should be dead, okay, and they're still putting up a fight, okay. I've heard of and done research on persons that have taken fatal gunshot wounds to the brain, to the heart, and so forth, and they still continue to fire and fight back long after they should be clinically dead. So keeping these type of things in mind, okay, you've got to remember that people are a lot tougher than we think they are, okay? When someone gets keyed up and they get pumped up on drugs and alcohol, okay, emotional problems, they can take a lot of abuse. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. So forget this one-punch quick knockout, because it doesn't happen that way. We're going to teach you to do an adequate amount of follow-up techniques and leave your opponent in a situation to where you can escape, get away, or continue if you have to. But the one-punch knockout, we're just going to pretend like that doesn't exist, because there's no guarantee. Okay, another myth that I'd like to address is the myth that all fights end up on the ground. It seems that a lot of people put this out in their training to try to get people to come to them, is that all fights end up on the ground, and if you don't train this way, you're not prepared properly. Okay, I have witnessed a lot of fights. Just the other day I was working an event on the south side of town, and I witnessed a small gang fight, 3-4 individuals. I saw a lot of wild punching, a lot of wild kicking, but during the course of this confrontation, which I observed carefully for 30 to 40 seconds before I was able to arrive there and break it up, not once was there an attempt for any of these fighters to take the other fighter to the ground, okay? People today seem to rely more on punching, striking, and kicking than they do going to the ground. Human psychology tells us we don't want to be on the ground. We don't feel at home on the ground. So the people that are out there in society that are causing problems are not ground fighters, okay? And a lot of times, if the fight does go to the ground, there's an ample opportunity to react to your opponent's punching and kicking before it ends up in a clinch and goes to the ground. So we're going to work on that. Now, we are going to bring to you a lot of different martial artists and a lot of different styles during the course of our programs, continuing on in the up and coming weeks. And we're going to address, ground fighting as well. But to believe the myth that every fight ends up on the ground is just that, a myth. In my experiences and in the experiences of my colleagues in law enforcement, most fights actually don't go to the ground, and if they do, they start with the wild punching, kicking, and grabbing that Kenpo is very effective in defending against, okay? One final myth that we're going to address, and then we'll go on in the instructional segments, is that tournament fighting prepares you for street fighting. If you've ever watched a karate tournament, you'll see the fighters, they'll get in a real good stance and they'll sneak in and get a quick point, and then the judge calls a break and he awards that individual a point, and they continue on with the tournament, okay? Tournament fighting doesn't put a lot of emphasis on doing serious counter-striking to your opponent, because you're going for points, not for life and death. So when you train and you condition yourself for strictly fighting in tournaments, you've got a referee there. He's going to break if the point lands. That's all you're concerned about, okay? You've got rules and regulations which completely disallows the majority of the good striking techniques that really work the best out on the street during tournaments. So you're training in an environment that is extremely unrealistic. Not to say that it doesn't have value, okay? You work on speed and power, you work on finding openings, and you also work on working with an attacker a lot, but nevertheless, because of the controlled environment and because of the outcome is just to win the tournament for a trophy, not to save life on the street, okay? The element of true self-defense just isn't there. So tournament fighting is going to be a little bit different from the street self-defense because of those reasons, to keep that in mind. Okay, now moving on, we're going to get into self-defense, and what we're going to do today is just kind of give you an overview of the way at my school, the way we approach self-defense. Okay, now we break self-defense down into several different categories. Okay, and we're gonna run through those real quick. We're gonna start from the least serious type of attack to the most serious type attack, and it goes something like this. There's grabs, pushes, punches, kicks, tackles, holds and hugs, locks and chokes, weapons attacks, and then combination attacks, which can be a combination of multiple opponents, of any of the above, involving more than one attacker. So there'll be multiple opponents in the combination attack. It could be one person with a grab and another one with a club and so forth. So that being the most serious, okay? So we start out with grabs and pushes first, and then we end up with defending against weapons and multiple attackers. So from the least serious to the most serious. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give you a visual example of an attack and of a defense from each of these categories to give you an idea where our training is going to go from here. Well, I hope this has better educated you on the different types of attacks and so forth. And during the upcoming weeks and the continuing programs, our on-the-mat segments, we're going to pull from these different categories, okay? We're going to learn more about the attacks, and we're going to learn some actual hands-on techniques that you can practice at home. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week on the mat. Okay, this concludes this edition of Training to Survive. Wasn't that Hapkido great? And how about those street self-defense techniques? You guys work out hard, practice this information, and we'll see you on the next show. For questions or comments, or to have your question answered on the show, please write to us at Tim Bulot's Academy of Kenpo Karate, 3325 West Rochelle Road, Irving, Texas, 75062. Or give us a call at Metro 972-256-3969. wow, how things have changed. But it's a trip down memory lane, isn't it, to go back to these old shows and take a look at them. I mean, how about that Hapkido, you know? And people ask me, they ask me a lot about the evolution of martial arts, because nowadays MMA is so popular, and you know the training is so different, and you know you got to go back to the 80s and the 90s and the prominent martial arts out there. I mean, well, like Taekwondo and the Korean arts were the biggest. I mean, there was a Taekwondo school on every corner, and all the kids were involved in that. You know, and in Kenpo there wasn't a lot of schools around, you know, but the predominant arts back then were, of course, your Korean arts, your Japanese arts. You saw them taught at a lot of clubs and universities, and so forth. The Chinese martial arts, different aspects of Kung Fu, and so forth. Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee's art, was becoming very, very popular back in that day also, and it followed similar paths as Kenpo, in some aspects, and in some aspects completely different, whereas they didn't have structure where we did, but a lot of the movements are the same, okay? And then the Filipino martial arts as well, but those were the prominent, I forgot, the throwing arts, Aikido and Aki Jiu-Jitsu. Those were the predominant arts back in that day, and people studied with discipline, and they stayed in an art for years until they got their black belt, and that's all gone by the wayside. Nowadays it's shake and bake. We want it fast, we want it now, we want video learning and internet learning, and we just want to get as much as we can as quick as we can so we can show what we got, okay? And then the MMA crowd, that, you know, what they do is just outright brutal sometimes, you know, the way that they train and so forth. So it's really evolved. Kenpo's exploded throughout the world. I mean, there's some great practitioners out there, but then again, there's some that are strictly internet and YouTube trained that are promoting themselves as high ranks, and that does any martial arts injustice there, because you know when it comes down to it, it's all about the teacher, and that's something that I bring out a lot in the show is what is the experience of the instructor. Okay? The art, you know, it matters some, but that's not the whole part. The whole, you know, no, to put everything together, it is somewhat what the art teaches, but it's also the experience of the teacher. With a good instructor, you know, you can make it work, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. So anyway, give me those likes, give me those subscriptions, share the video, and again, like I said, I want to know who's watching. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the continuation of the show. Do we film newer segments and put them in there from today to kind of merge the past with the present? And if we do that, how do we go about it production wise? What do you guys want? Do you like the old look that we're using right now? Or, you know, like in some of my other videos, do you like that modern 4K, you know, sharp, crisp? You know, it doesn't matter to me. I like working with video equipment one way or the other. So anyway, we've enjoyed it, guys. We're going to get to work on episode 5 to have that out here in a week or so. So y'all hang in there with us. Come back for episode 5. Thank you. I appreciate you coming along on this journey with us.